Hi, everyone, and welcome to our first Pacuare Cultural Day celebration Facebook Live of 2025. My name is Laura Chavarria, Marketing and Communications Manager at Quality Project International, and today we're coming together to celebrate the incredible world of Cultural and the outstanding work being done in Pacuare Reserve. So, to kick things off, we're very honored to have a very special guest from Moody Gardens joining us. Greg Whitaker will be sharing a few words about their work and the importance of partnerships with Pacuare Reserve and its impact. So, Greg, the floor is all yours.
Well, thank you, Laura. We're very honored to be part of this. When we were first introduced to Pacuare and EPI several years ago from a colleague, Tanoya Gonzalez, it seemed to be such a natural fit for our mission here at Moody Gardens. Our primary focus on ecology and the animal side of things. It's the rainforest pyramid here, tropical rainforests from around the world, as well as the aquarium. And Pacuare offers a very unique nexus of both of those things, and seemed to be a real natural fit for us as a conservation partner. So we are thrilled to be part of the work that's happening down there in a small way, and providing support for the work that you all are doing down there, and connecting our guests here at our aquarium and rainforest to the great work that's happening down there in the reserve. So we look forward to continuing that support and being a part of the success that you all see.
Thank you, Greg, for API and for Pacuare Reserve. Is truly outstanding, all the work and all the support that we have received from Moody Gardens, and we couldn't be more excited about this partnership. And now we are very, very excited to welcome Claudio Quesada, Research and Conservation Coordinator at Pacuare Reserve. Claudio will walk us through the science behind our conservation work, including important questions like where do we measure sea turtles and how long do they live? So without further ado, over to you, Claudio.
Thank you, Laura. Let me share my screen, start the presentation. So today we are in the commemoration of the World Sea Turtle Day 2025. So we want to give you some information about how the season is going. We are kind of halfway of the season, and we want to make a report and share some information about some results that we already have, including some good information about what Laura mentioned before. So first, I want to tell that EPI is more than Pacuare Reserve. There is a lot of people working under ISIN, and we have an office in Yellowstone, in Mexico, and we have projects in Belize and Galapagos. So we want to thank for all the effort that everybody is doing to keep all these projects going, all the different projects going in the reserve. So thanks to everybody in EPI for all the effort you do. We really appreciate it. And we do our best from the reserve, thinking about every thing that everybody does with many passion in every place of the world. We want to thank for the research assistants as well. They do a really hard work every day, every night, walking on the nesting beaches, moving material from here to there. So we want to thank for all the energy you as a research assistant have in the program. You do a really great job, and thanks for all these good things that you do in this project. As well, I want to thank to the local people. They do a really hard work as well, every day, living in the reserve, every night, dealing with everything that is going on, including the weather sometimes. So we want to thank for all your passion as well, working hard from the on-field positions. As well, thank you for all the visitors. We have between 1,000 to 2,000 visitors per year, including students from high schools, including families, teachers, instructors, local people, people from the office as well. So thanks for all your effort that you put in the project as well. Without all these people that I have mentioned, for sure these results were not the same. So we try to appreciate in this presentation as well all the hard work that everybody does to make this program possible. Now, getting close to the information. So these are potentially the 4 species of we can see in the Pacuare Reserve. The leatherback, the one that is on the left in the bottom, is the most common one. Is one of the Pacuare is one of the index beaches for nesting of leatherback sea turtles in the world. Obviously in Costa Rica as well. So we try to do we try to collect the best data we can. Important to mention, we are part of the North Atlantic population. So we share our genetical stock with all the North Atlantic. So leatherbacks come to lay eggs to Costa Rica, to the Pacuare Reserve, but they migrate all the way to the North Pole, close to the North Pole, the east coast of the states in Canada. That's the feeding area. So that's important to mention that migratory routes and understand which places do they go is important for the conservation of this population as well. So that's why we have partnerships with many organizations, including Moody Gardens in this case, because we share the population in between the two countries. Unfortunately, I have to tell today that the genetical stock of leatherbacks in the North Atlantic is decreasing. So in comparison between 1999 to 2017, the population or the number of females, because we don't have information about the males, so the population decreased 60%. So it's really important to protect every single nest that come to the beach, because that actually is going to make the difference for the new generation of leatherbacks. Important to mention, in Pacuare Reserve, we protect 45% of the genetical stock of all the leatherbacks that we have in Costa Rica, including the Pacific and the Caribbean. So protecting these 2.7 miles or 6 kilometers of beach, we are protecting 45% of all the nesting females that we have in Costa Rica every year. This is the situation of the number of nests of leatherbacks in Pacuare Reserve. As you can see, is decreasing. We are almost at the end of the nesting season for 2025, and we only register 262 nests. This is the worst year that we have ever had. That makes us think about how we are doing conservation. And this is one of the things that I will comment later, that I will talk about later. What things we have to do. It's not only that we can do, what things we have to do to actually find the way to recover the population of leatherbacks in the Caribbean of Costa Rica, because this is Pacuare Reserve is an index beach, and we can see that the number of nests are decreasing every year. If we make a comparison, for example, with 1997, 1,000, a little bit more than 1,000 nests less this year. So that's a really big number for less than 30 years. So it's important to see what we can do in the future to actually repair this decreasing trending line of number of nests in the reserve. So what are the main threats? Why the number of females and number of nests in the Caribbean side is decreasing? Microplastic is a big problem. So we are monitoring microplastics in the reserve to try to understand what is going on. So far we know about the global warming, but how is affecting the global warming and the microplastic? So the temperature increase during the day. In normal conditions without microplastics, the temperature must go down a little bit during the night. But unfortunately, the microplastic is holding the temperature. And every year, every day, we are registering increasing on the temperature in the nest and in the nest chambers. So after this, We have another problem that is the erosion. The level of the sea is increasing every year, and we can see it in the reserve as well. We have less place available, less beach available every year where the females can come and lay the eggs. So those are the main threats right now. We can see in the bottom the poaching rate. So how many illegal harvesting is happening of nests in the Pacuare Reserve? And we can see that in the last 10 years, it's not a big problem. Obviously, we have a really good control of the beach. We have the guards for you that have already visited the reserve. You know, we have guards in the north and the south boundary of the reserve, so they control which person enter or not in the reserve, so we can um, guarantee that most of the nests are protected. But still, if we don't continue, we stop continue with this monitoring and control, obviously there will be illegal poachers that will enter the beach and try to collect illegally the eggs. So that's why we keep working on this, but as well we need to find what are the main threats. We need to keep working on understanding how the microplastics are affecting the temperature on the nest chamber. Having this, our main goals to mitigate the biggest threats that we have in the reserve is conservation and environmental education. We bring, as you know, we bring a lot of people to the reserve, local people, visitors from all over the world. In the right, we can see our research assistants getting all the knowledge from Haji that has been working in the reserve for 18 years already. So we teach everybody that comes to the reserve. And that's the way that we can spread the word of conservation and a good model of conservation that we have in the reserve. So environmental education is one of the main goals that we have in the reserve. Then research as well. We teach all the research assistants on how to do every protocol that we have, and we collect data every time that data is available. Every time that we need to understand what could happen if we do things in a different way, well, we base those decisions in data. So research assistants and visitors in general, they help us to collect data after they learn how to collect it. So numbers are really important for us to understand how the population is doing and what is going on at the end of the season with the different nests that we collected. Well, during the night, we collect the eggs. We try to, we already, based on one of the main threats, there is erosion of the beach and microplastics. We try to collect those nests during the night, as well during the morning census. We do censuses from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. every day. So it's about 11 hours that we do census on the nesting beach. In this time is when we collect the data and collect the nest. During the morning census, we collect some nests as well. So that means that there are some females that come to lay eggs during the daylight as well. And we want to collect those nests. What we do with those nests, um, we basically bring those nests to the hatcheries. We have one relocation area in the south, one hatchery in the south, and another hatchery in the north. And this is our main conservation tool. We know that we collect a lot of data. We know there is a research area as well, but this is the main tool that we have for conservation. So we have with this protocols, we have achieved already three of the main goals, that is environmental education, research, and conservation. We want to produce as many hatchlings as we can every year. That's why we need to understand what happened with those that with those embryos that didn't make all the way to break the shell and get to the surface and get to the ocean. So we collect data to understand what happened with those embryos and why they didn't make it. We have, as I mentioned, another hatchery in the north. And important to mention, after pandemic, this is the first year thanks to the help from Moody Gardens, this is the first year that we have a hatchery in the North Station. So it was already 4 years that we couldn't have a hatchery in the North Station. So again, we are moving nests to the north and closer to the place where the turtle lay the eggs, and we can more efficient protect those eggs closer to the area where the turtle lay the eggs. Why do we use hatcheries? Well, as you can see in the red bar, that's the hatchling success. So the percentage of how many hatchlings we produce every time that we have a nest. In the red bar, we can see the percentage for the hatchling success for the in situ nest. So you can see how from 2015 to 2024, 2025 is just about 66 nests and 25%. So that's not the final information that we're going to have for the whole season. But if we consider, yeah, from 2015 to 2024, we can see that the hatchling success for the in situ nest is decreasing. And that's related with global warming, erosion, and microplastics. Every year, the conditions that we have for the natural nest is getting worse, as you can see. And you can see for the hatchling success, for the green bars, the hatchery, well, we give better situation to those nests. That's why we try to put all the effort in moving as much nests as we can, so we could have more babies at the end of the season, and we can have a better situation when these babies reach sexual maturity. But that's one of our main goals as well. Try to release as much babies as we can. And the hatchery seems to be the only option right now. Sometimes 3, 4, 5, or 6 more times better the conditions that we give in the hatchery than the natural conditions that we have in the beach. As well, it's important to mention, and this is one of the information that I want to share today. You can see that 149 females lay only one nest in the Pacuare Reserve. And in average, each female is going to nest, is going to lay 6 nests during the season. So what this means, that the females that come to Pacuare Reserve, they go to another nesting beaches. So it's a must that we need to start working in networks. We need to understand what is going on with the whole population. We know that we are doing really, really good in terms of hatchling success, in terms of protection to the nest, in terms of protection to the nesting females. We are doing really well in the reserve. But how the population is doing, that's the main question. It seems that the population is decreasing anyway. Even if we do our best in the boundaries of the reserve, well, that's not enough for the population. So it's a must that we need to start working in network with the other nesting areas that we have in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Panama, in Colombia, and as well start working in partnerships with the feeding areas, because if they don't get good food or good quality of food, well, they won't make it to the whole process to come back to lay eggs every season. So that's important to mention. Networks seems to be the solution right now for the conservation of leatherback in the long term. In the short term, we are doing really well in the reserve, but we need to do way more than we are doing right now, and network seems to be the solution. Neophytes, this is the number of females that come to lay eggs for the first time. In orange, you can see the remigrants. In green, you can see the, well, in blue, you can see the neophytes. So that means that we have new members in the population. So it's the neophytes is the females that come to lay eggs for the first time to the Pacuare Reserve. So that's a really good information, because that means that, well, there are new nesting females that we have in the population, and that's actually what we want, because we need to recover that population. So we need to release babies that in 12 years, when they reach sexual maturity, will come back for the first time. So There is a hope still because we have still new members in the population. That's really important to mention that still we have time to recover this population. About the report for this season, well, we have saved about almost 21,000 eggs. We have saved 262 nests. Already from those 262 nests, 66 have already hatched. That's 25% in total. And we have released to the water this season 2,538 babies to the ocean. An important number since 1989, when the reserve were funded, we have released 982,455 hatchlings back to the ocean. So those are the ones that will be new members of the population. So it's important to see that huge number that we have released through the time, especially that if we mention that when the reserve were funded in 1989, about 98% of the eggs were collected illegally. So for sure, we have saved almost 1 million babies in all this time that in other conditions, for sure, were nothing and none for the new generation of letterbacks in the Caribbean. I want to thanks and I want to know if there are questions about this report.
Thank you, Claudio. That was truly fascinating, and we can't wait to hear the questions from the ones who are joining us. But before we start with the Q&A section, we just wanted to share the sea turtle face many threats as you were hearing from Claudio, but there is a lot that you can do to help protect them. Number one, reduce single-use plastic, support ethical conservation initiatives, volunteer or spread awareness, and of course, you can support our work by making a donation. Head over to our website, ecologyproject.org, or click and donate. There you can make a one-time gift, become a monthly donor, dedicate a donation in honor of someone special, and of course, even sponsor a student or support specific programs like Pacuare Reserve. So now we can move over to our Q&A, and I know that we have quite a few. How do you track sea turtles?
Okay, each female, well, we can track only the nesting females. About the babies, well, there is no, let's say there's no technology to track the babies. About the males, we don't know almost anything. About the nesting females, that's the ones that we actually track. We install metal tags in the back flippers, close to the back flippers, and a microchip in the right shoulder. So that's the way that we know. It's like the ID that we give to each of the females. That's the way that we know it's a neophyte or how many times do they come to the beach. So every time that they come, we register that information. And as I mentioned, there are another projects in the Caribbean of Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua, and Colombia that do exactly the same. So we know we can track that information as well. We can know when was the first time that that female came to lay eggs. We can track different information. So far, we have one of the females that have laid eggs for 23 years. So the first time that we registered that female, it was in 2003, 2002, and we registered her this season as well. So based on that information is when we can tell how long do they live. So if we consider that they reach sexual maturity at about 12 years, and they can lay for more than 23 years, so we for sure tell that they live more than 50 years. If we get information about the different books that we can read, they can live up to 150 years. That is information that is not approved yet because um, based on research about the bonds analysis, they found one nesting female that lived for 112 years. So that's the maximum number we have, uh, like it's proof already. But in theory, we can read information that they can live for up to 150 years, and we track them that way: metal tags and microchips.
Wonderful. Thank you, Claudio. And now we have another question from Jose Godinez. How can someone get involved as a volunteer at Pacuare Reserve?
Well, there are many ways to volunteer. You can come for a weekend. Sometimes we open volunteer options for a weekend, and you can help us to build a hatchery. In the other projects as well, you can help us with the monitoring of agami herons, for example. That could be for the minimum time of a weekend. But as well, if you want to come longer during the nesting season, yeah, you can participate for 3, 4 nights, even a little bit more. You can send a message through our Instagram or Facebook. And as well, if you want to be a research assistant and participate for long term, between 3 months to 6 months, in the monitoring program, you can do it as well. There are a lot of volunteers that, or a lot of people that just finish the university, or they need to do the practice for the university, or do the thesis for the university, and they come as a research assistant. So for any of these options that I mentioned, if you or anybody wants to participate, well, just send us a message through the um, Facebook or the Instagram.
And you can always visit our website from Pacuare Reserve, and there you can find all the other information as well. And now we have another question from Edward. Thank you, Edward. How is the research going regarding the bacteria infections within the nest?
The bacteria you mentioned?
Yes, the bacteria infections.
Uh-huh. Okay, we have a partnership with Universidad Nacional, the School of Veterinary of Universidad Nacional, and we last year we collect information about well, we collect some samples about bacteria and fungus, microbiota in general. So we are still on analysis. As soon as we get more information about the families of microbiota or species, if we can get to a species, we're gonna provide that information, especially that is gonna be important in terms of how we can mitigate that contamination when those bacteria contaminate the nest. If it's something related with the nesting female, if it's related with the place that the turtle choose to lay the eggs, or if it's the hatchery. So that's part of the questions that we are trying to answer right now. But yeah, it's under investigation. We have the samples. We are growing communities of microbiota in the laboratory of Universidad Nacional. And as soon as we get more information, you can be sure that we will share that information in our social networks and as well different publications that we will do. Yeah, we have discovered three main bacteria that actually affect in a negative way the hatchling success and the development of the embryos. About two viruses as well seems to be a problem for the development of the embryos, but we still needs to keep working with this research. We have some results, but it's still not enough to make a publication and tell what is going on.
Okay, we're eager to learn a little bit more. And now we have Jirian's question. You mentioned a big next step is building bigger, better networks with other organizations and governments to continue conservation work. Any successes so far, or challenges or barriers?
Hello.
Claudio, can you hear me?
Oh, oh, I didn't hear the second part of the question. I'm sorry. I think it was my internet.
That's totally fine. You mentioned a big next step is building bigger, better networks with other organizations and governments to continue conservation work. Any successes so far or challenges and barriers?
Okay, really good question. From Pacuare Reserve, we have been trying for many years to do our best. I think that we need to kind of convince the other projects that's the solution. One of the biggest thing is that some other projects doesn't want to share the information until they make a publication, and sometimes they even last 10 or 20 years before they make a publication and the information is public. So we're trying really hard. We are working together. Actually, there is a new methodology for the ACLAC for the government, the organization or the entity, the national entity that is working with all the science in the Caribbean region of Costa Rica. So there is a new methodology to try to find the best way to share the data and have a common database where we can upload the data and the data is going to be available for the government. We, as Pacuare Reserve, we know that the government is the entity in charge to get the data and analyze the data. It's not that we want the data to make publications or anything like that. We are trying our best to tell the other projects that share the data with the government, and the government will have it available for take the best decisions. It is ongoing. I have to tell, during the last 2 or 3 years, we have walk a little steps, getting to the right directions, but still there is much to do. And probably we in Pacuare Reserve and EPI are the ones that are going to lead and are going to tell the government what is the best platform that we can use, what is the best way to do the analysis. So probably we want to work together with the government, but we need to wait for their directions until we can make a little bit more.
Okay, great. And I'm seeing another question. Thank you for dropping them, guys. Is Pacuare mainly focused on turtles? That's a great one. I can wait to hear Claudio's answer.
Okay. Many years ago, the only goal of Pacuare was to protect sea turtles. And I can tell many, many years ago, only leatherbacks. And then we bring into the picture the other species. So now we are protecting leatherbacks, green sea turtles, and hawksbills. But as well, we have new projects since EPI is managing the Pacuare Reserve in 2016, 2017. So we are doing ethology of monkeys, so kind of describe the different behaviors of the monkeys. We are describing the density and the number and the abundance, the number of individuals per species, the migratory of these species. We are working with wildcats as well and their prey. So we have reported especially jaguars and ocelots in the reserve. So we have 7 stations of camera traps in the reserve where we monitor um, wildcats and their prey, and as well we have the research and conservation program of Akami herons. There is the first known colony of Akami herons in America. That's the only continent where they live. So we have been working in this program since 24. We have data since 2004. Um, so yeah, those are the main projects. We are planning to open new conservation and research programs, but this is little by little. We need to deal with many things, including permission to work with different species. But yeah, we are way more than conservation of sea turtles. That's probably the flagship or the umbrella species, But yeah, we are protecting the different ecosystems, the different species. For those that have already visited the reserve, we try to do more things right now in the forest and not only in the nesting beach.
Thank you, Claudio. And then the last question of today, Edward is asking, are you planning on monitoring the poacher's pressure over the year so that you can monitor effectively the evolution of the poacher's pressure?
I'm sorry, of the what?
Poacher's pressure.
Okay, the poachers, well, as you saw in the graph, the poaching rate is between 0 to 0.5%. So poaching is not a problem, and it hasn't been a problem for the last probably 10 years in the Pacuare Reserve. We know that there is a big pressure out of the reserve. So right the neighbor, right the beach that is next to the reserve, poaching rate could be up to 60%, 50%. So that's why I mentioned that we need to work in networks and we try to do better and try to share the protocols that we do with other projects or try to do environmental education in other communities, because that seems to be the only way how we can decrease the poaching rate. But yeah, in the reserve is not a problem. In the population, and that's why I mentioned that we need to work in networks, because for the population, that's a big, big problem. It's not that if there is poaching in other nesting beach, it's not going to affect Pacuare. Well, that's not the way it works. For sure, every egg that is collected illegally in any other nesting beach, for our nesting females for Costa Rica, for example, for the whole Caribbean of Costa Rica, well, that is directly and indirectly going to affect the conservation of leatherback. So yeah, we need to do more with, we need to share more of our knowledge with other projects so we can do better. But in the reserve, there is almost no problem with poaching. But yeah, other places have a really big problem still with poaching.
Thank you for all that very, very valuable information, Claudio. And now with that, we're closing and finalizing our Q&A section. But to all the people who write the word turtle, we will be sending you more information and all the details of the Facebook Live and all the wonderful and very interesting information that Claudio just shared. And that's a wrap for today for Spiritual Celebration. A huge thank you to Moody Gardens, Claudio, and all of you for tuning in from all around the world. Let's keep working together to protect our oceans and these amazing creatures. Don't forget to visit ecologyproject.org and Pacuare Reserve's website to learn more, get involved, and make a difference. See you next time.
Thank you.